When people ask me all the time what draws me to Lord of the Rings Online, it's moments like this that I try and point them towards. Moments that make you stop, just drop whatever you're doing, turn the UI off, sit down and just enjoy what's going on around you. Right now, all I can hear are birds chirping and some raindrops sort of hitting the floor, and occasionally the Shire music will pop in and pop out. And it didn't really occur to me until recently how important these moments are, and more specifically, how important the Shire is to not just the Lord of the Rings films, but the Lord of the Rings Online game as a whole. This game is of massive scale, and it has you doing some pretty severe stuff, facing some very, very sinister evils. There's a lot of trouble, there's a lot of woe, there's a lot of danger around every corner. And the Shire is very much the grounding point to all of that. If on many occasions, if I've had a couple of hours of questing and I'm really starting to feel the grind, or I just want to slow things down a little bit, I'll often come here and run the same quests that I've done, well, ever since I started about a year or so ago, just because there is something so harmonious and simple about running pies from A to B around the Shire, or convincing someone that has no interest in a love relationship with one of the hobbits to convince that person that actually this person really wants to try and win you over. And it's like going back and forth between these two hobbits to try and build that relationship together. There's something just so sweet and innocent, and I guess the word I'm looking for is the amount of relaxation that you get from being in this area, from the moment that you cross Brandywine Bridge when you first enter the Shire, to the very heart when you get past to, for example, we're Bag End now, or into Mickle Delving. There is so much character here, and that is also further emphasised by, of course, the world that we've grown to know and love through the books and the movies. Yes, the movies were lesser received, but the way that I see majority of Lord of the Rings content, and even Rings of Power to an extent, is that as much as these adaptations aren't always great, I do enjoy being around the Lord of the Rings universe, whether that be a 1 out of 10 experience or a 10 out of 10 Peter Jackson experience for me. So the more Lord of the Rings that I can get, the better. I'll never turn it away, albeit Rings of Power is a sore spot, but we won't cover that. So having those worlds adapted around you via books, via the films, and then to physically allow a digital interpretation of yourself, a character that you've created, that you've grown to know, love, that you've made outfits for, that you spent time with, to allow that person, a very form of yourself, to sit and experience these worlds. And for example, the Shire, which by the way, in game, is massive, but to allow your character to experience that is phenomenal. I mean, if we scroll down here a little bit, you can see the party tree, so you can see all the different sort of events and stuff going on. You can look all the way across the Shire, you can see the streams flowing around, the water mills, there's children sort of chasing each other, skipping around. The difference is with Lord of the Rings Online, and this is what I try and bring home to absolutely everyone, this isn't a static game. And what I mean by that is there are so many MMOs that will create a town, create a village, and they'll have one person here, one person there, and they're all very static. A blacksmith is just a guy that you go and chat to, you converse a few words, that's it. They're not doing anything, the farmers aren't farming. With Lord of the Rings Online, everything is so convincing. It really is. The farmers, if you go and speak to them, they're not in some undisclosed location. They are, of course, on the farm. They're farming. You've got blacksmiths that are hitting anvils, or hunter trainers or combat skill trainers. Most of them are attacking dummies or commanding people to attack dummies. And the Shire is absolutely no different. You've got everything is exactly where you expect it to be, and what they've managed to do to capture scale. So you can see here I'm playing a high elf, so considerably taller than a lot of the inhabitants of the Shire. The scale of the buildings, the structures, everything has been incredibly well thought out. When you go into Bilbo's old hobbit hole behind us, which is, I believe, now been actually taken over by the Sackville Baggins. The scale, when you enter that property, you feel like a giant. You really do. The furniture, everything seems so much smaller to you. And I think to achieve that level of detail in a video game, it's just incredible. And when you look around these properties, when you look around the gardens, when you look around the layouts of the Shire as a whole, there is so much attention that has been paid to the source material of Tolkien, even down to the minute little details, the way that the books are laid out, the way that artwork is displayed on the wall, cutlery, anything that you can think of is exactly where it needs to be. So I hold very, very fond memories of the Shire. That there are not many games that I can honestly sit here and go AFK and even just listen to the background music or just watch people run by. It really, really is truly, truly special. I love the fact that you can interact with pretty much everything. Anyone that you speak to that has got some form of side quest, no matter how silly it is, it gives you a form of world building. It doesn't feel empty. It doesn't just feel like a fetch quest. I've never in any game come back to an area to start questing just to relax. Like, to me, most games that I've played before, questing to a point gets incredibly boring, and it does so, you know, there are elements of that in Lord of the Rings Online, but because there is so much character here, so much world building, and so much passion, you don't feel like that. I could quite happily sit here and work on some of my projects outside, my in real life projects, and just listen to, hopefully you guys can hear it, it might be a bit quiet on YouTube, but and just listen to the rain sort of hit the floor, or the birds chirping in the background. It's wonderful. It really is. So hopefully you guys kind of get what I'm saying or what I'm trying to portray, but I do feel like having the Shire here is a constant reminder that there is good whilst there is evil, and there is a lot of evil in this game. You'll know, and I won't spoil it for anyone, but it escalates very quickly as you're following the book quests. For example, if you start to quest into the Before the Shadow expansion, so you start to do that introduction, there's a lot of stuff that you're introduced to really, really quickly. It's just quite dark over and above the standard starting point. And the Shire, for example, if you don't take the standard tutorial or the standard beginning of this game, the Shire and Breetown, for example, you won't really even venture anywhere near until you decide to, you know, go off on your own accord. So a lot of people, if you have taken the Before the Shadow entrance or, you know, the tutorial, you'll miss a lot of this stuff unless you force yourself to come over to it. And Lord of the Rings Online really does reward exploration. It wants you to go out and do your own thing, you know, but just be warned that there are troubles around the corner. If you enter into an area that's slightly more powerful than you are, you will notice that. But also you're rewarded with explorations too, for example, the Shire, and how wonderful and hearty and welcoming that is, and its inhabitants. It's a reminder that there is some innocence in a quite frankly a terrifying world. But that's about it. That's all I've got for you guys. I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts on a location in the game that is really, really close to my heart. But if you guys feel the same, like, subscribe, comment down below, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.